On the west coast of the US, California, known as the Golden State, is the country's most populous and also seems to have its own population of distinctive ghosts. Inhabiting the home of Hollywood and global technology, these strange presences range from intriguing to terrifying. Here are some of California's paranormal hotspots. Preston Castle, Ione. The castle was originally constructed in 1894 as the Preston School of Industry, a reform school for unruly youth and abandoned children. The building's sinister history includes harsh punishments, toxic dunking baths, and incidents of foul play, resulting in the deaths of 2 staff. Singer-songwriter Merle Haggard and actor Lee J. Cobb are rumoured to have been former inmates. The castle's foreboding facade seems to house many eerie presences which are identified by nighttime investigators. These have included unexplained shadows and voices, orbs, and the recurring scent of a woman's perfume when no one is wearing any. Some people have reported being scratched by invisible hands. Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, Los Angeles. The luxurious Roosevelt opened in 1927 during Hollywood's golden era and accordingly has a star-studded history. It hosted the first Oscars and many film premiere after-parties and is now home to some very glamorous ghosts. Reportedly, after the Roosevelt's first major renovation in 1984, spirits started to become very active and seem to love returning to the glitzy location through what psychic Peter James has called a tubular shaft, a very cold spot near the Academy Room, which creates a doorway for visiting entities. Marilyn Monroe apparently posed for her first magazine photos at the Roosevelt's pool and is now said to haunt the hotel halls and room 1200, where she resided for 2 years as her modelling career took off. A maintenance worker has told The Hollywood Reporter that many guests see Marilyn in a mirror she used. A cleaner was once dusting the mirror, which was then hanging in the manager's office, when she saw the reflection of a sad blonde woman. Turning to speak to her, the employee found that no one was behind her. Yet, on looking back into the mirror, the woman's image was still there. Lisa, of Contact Research Investigation Specialists, has conducted a paranormal investigation with parapsychologist Dr. Barry Taft. The investigators recorded an EVP in Marilyn's previous room, which pleaded, "Help me."
It's a little dark, so I'm going to turn that light on.
The apparition of silver screen idol Montgomery Clift has been attributed with patting guests on the shoulders. Mysterious trumpet music has been heard coming from room 928, where he stayed for 3 months while filming From Here to Eternity, and from the hall outside. Maids and investigators in the room have claimed to be watched by Clift's ghost. The apparition of actress Carole Lombard has also been reported as floating around the upper floors. In the Blossom Ballroom, where the first Oscars were held, 2 ghosts have been detected. One tuxedoed man radiates an anxious cold spot, and psychics report that he attended one of the Academy Awards banquets. He was nominated for an award but unsuccessful, so perhaps trying to resolve his disappointment from beyond. Another man in a white suit plays the piano in the Blossom Ballroom, but disappears when he is noticed by the living. Several entities are said to stay in the empty rooms at the Roosevelt, will lift the phones and call the switchboard, their disembodied voices often heard. Security guards have spotted what they thought were people swimming in the pool on security cameras very late at night and in the early hours when the pool is closed. On approaching the pool, there is no one visible there. One guard reported this to his colleague on his walkie-talkie, also waving his hands at the camera. The guard watching the camera vision later told him that he had been waving his hands through the apparition's head. The ghost had obediently got out of the pool and was standing right next to the poolside guard. Bodie State Historic Park, Bodie. Bodie is a gold rush era gold mining ghost town, now deserted. More than 100 structures remain, as well as some supposed spirits of prospectors. A strange story attaches to Bodie, where the last producing mine closed after World War II. With only 6 people remaining in the old settlement, 5 of these would soon meet untimely ends. First, one man slew his wife, after which 3 men plugged the violent husband. According to the legend, the killer's ghost would regularly visit these 3 men, brandishing his fist. Soon, all 3 passed away from mysterious illnesses. Fort Humboldt State Historic Park, Eureka. This historic former fort's remote location overlooks a rugged bluff in Humboldt Bay. Its eerie ambience derives from the supposed ghost of a deceased commander who succumbed to malaria in 1897 within the old hospital. He is now seen staring out of the old building's windows as hikers stroll past. Strange phenomena heard during the night, coming from inside the hospital, include the sound of heavy objects being dragged across the floor or deliberately dropped, and lights turning on and off. Angry and frightening entities have been reported in the area since the 1950s. One witness reported to Backpackerverse that she and her husband were returning to their car at night there when they spotted a figure sitting on its hood. Her annoyed husband ran towards it, only to rush back and drag her away in terror. He described the entity to her as not human, with long teeth and mismatched, threatening eyes. The Queen Mary, Long Beach. Now permanently docked in Long Beach, the Queen Mary was once known as the Grey Ghost and has been labelled by Time magazine as one of the world's top 10 haunted sites. Now a hotel and museum, during World War II, the Queen Mary served as a transport ship for Allied troops. At one stage, the massive liner collided with her escort ship and, in fleeing the enemy, was forced to leave its crew of 239 men to perish at sea. Visitors report screams and violent noises in the boiler room, where an 18-year-old sailor was severed in half when trapped by a heavy door. The spirit of a young girl also haunts the ship as she plays a nightly game of hide and seek with guests around the swimming pool. The ship's Queen's Salon also seems a hotbed of paranormal activity, with a woman in white, apparently a former first-class passenger, seen there gliding across the floor in a long gown, dancing to a silent orchestra. Suite B30 had to be closed to the public due to the many complaints of its being haunted, the most common phenomena being disembodied footsteps, taps turning on and off, and toilets flushing on their own. A male passenger is said to have passed away in the room in 1948. In 1966, a woman staying in the room claimed that she had woken up when the bed covers were dragged off her, only to see a man standing at the end of her bed. She screamed and rang for the steward, but the man reportedly vanished into thin air. Adobe de Capistrano, San Juan Capistrano. Ghost hunters flock to San Juan Capistrano during Halloween, when reputedly shimmering apparitions appear of the many people who perished in the 1812 earthquake that destroyed the mission. The 3 ghosts who frequent the San Juan Capistrano mission can herald their arrival with tobacco aromas, and sometimes the bells can be heard tolling when there is no one around. The original court and jail is now a wine cellar, said to be haunted by the spirit of a former prisoner. More eerily, some report seeing a headless friar at the restaurant door, sometimes wielding an axe. Nearby on Los Rios Street and beneath a large pepper tree, a dark-haired woman in white may sit simply staring at you. Her background is unknown, but often guessed at. Some say she is La Llorona, the legendary weeping woman, a travelling spirit from Mexico seeking her missing children. Hotel del Coronado, San Diego. In 1892, a 24-year-old housekeeper from Los Angeles named Kate Morgan checked into the luxurious waterfront resort alone under the false name Lottie A. Bernard. She spent 5 days wandering around the hotel, with some believing that she was waiting for a husband or lover's arrival. She was then found lifeless on a staircase leading to the beach, having seemingly ended her life. The beautiful stranger, as she was named by the press at the time, now seems to haunt her former room, numbered 3327. The harmless but eerie phenomena range from soft footsteps around the bed to pillows stacked in a pyramid, unexplained breezes, scents and sounds, flickering lights, objects moving by themselves, and the TV turning itself on and off. Guests have claimed to see Kate's restless ghost wandering the hallways, garden and beach. On Valentine's Day 2000, a young couple witnessed a string of supernatural events which included covers being ripped off them in the middle of the night.